Welcome. You are about to take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition show. For the next hour, allow her to prepare you in becoming a magnet for a profound love-infused relationship by identifying and focusing on solutions through love. Awaken the light within and let your essence shine. And now, here's Deborah Beauvais on Love by Intuition, all part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Welcome, everyone. Bonjour, mes amis. And yes, here I am, Deborah Beauvais, founder and owner of the syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, we are a Boston-based, fully operating internet radio station with all the bells and whistles. You can hear us wherever you are in the world. With technology, all you need is an iPhone, a cell phone, a smartphone, whatever you want to call it. You can listen to us online in the cars and ask Alexa, play Dream Vision 7 radio network, or launch, or whatever term that you choose will come up and you can listen. I have a most exciting show coming up today. If you've been following us, we've been doing a series. The Love by Intuition show has been doing a series. It's a 5-part series, and we started April 28th with the first, and today we are going to be visiting with the second. And then I want to make sure that you know this is Cheryl Bradley. She is a spirit medium. She has a profound gift for connecting with spirit, helping others find peace, clarity, and connection through her work as a spiritual medium and mostly teacher, I have to say. She has written a book. She's been on NBC TV, and her book is so profound that I wanted to do a series. And I will do series with other guests as well, so if you'd like to know how it all works, come on down. Now, Cheryl, we have actually done, as mentioned, April 28th. Tonight we're doing number 2, and this is June 16th. Actually my late husband's birthday. And we will also be doing the 18th, which is Thursday, number 3. And that one will be at 1 o'clock, and that's Eastern time. And then we'll be doing June 30th at 6 and July 1st at 6. It's all on the website under Love by Intuition. You can see it in a blog post. But check that out and follow us, because the information that Cheryl is sharing is extraordinary. It's not something that you may have heard before. And her book is not a book about the afterlife. It's not just a book about spiritual awakening. It's a gentle welcome to remember. And how beautiful is that? Now, we are going to be talking about preparing to incarnate, the soul's blueprint before birth. That is our part of the book we are focusing on. This is a live show. Bob is in the house. You can just call in 833-220-1200, and he'll put you right through. And you can say hello, or I'll get a text saying that you're on. But just in case you're calling with a landline, you'll need to say hello so we know that you're there. Without further ado, Cheryl Bradley, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Deborah. It is such a pleasure to be in your company again. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my honor. And, yeah, what else can I say other than I have met so many spirit mediums and have connected with them all. But there's something very special about you, and I have to say it. With that said, let's get into it about this incarnation, preparing for incarnation. So one of the things that I had read that I was like, oh, wow, and you had asked Spirit, and that's what they shared with you, that it takes 100 years of earth time for the plan of coming to incarnate, to make a plan for earth life?
Mm-hmm. And just like anything, Deborah, and I know I'm preaching to your spiritual choir as well, is there's no cookie-cutter answers. There's no one-size-fits-every spiritual journey. So I just want to just say that right out of the gate. So what happens is there's no time on the other side. But I pressed Spirit. I said, Spirit, I said, you know, I would like to kind of know approximately how long it takes in Earth years that correlate to that being on the inside, because I wanted to talk about that we come so purposeful, Deborah, that we don't just say, okay, I'm gonna come right in, and of course I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek on this, but I'm just coming in. I don't know where I'm coming into, but I'm just coming in. And I want you to know, and all your listeners to know, is that we come in with such purpose, with such plans of sort. And again, that's a human word. It doesn't always correlate to the spiritual world. And so it does take about 100 years. And can I just share one story I had when I was doing a presentation the other day?
Please.
Okay. So I had, and I do a presentation called The Spirit's Journey, and again, if you read my book, that's really where it began 10 years ago. And so I did that Spirit's Journey, and every time I've done it so many times, it comes out different because I add whatever kind of channels through. And so this person that was in my audience said, Cheryl, I know that you said it takes about 100 years to incarnate, and I'm confused. Because you said it's 100 years, but yet I read and felt very deeply that a person that she had connected with through a book or a TV show left this earth, passed, and came back right away, and had such unique proof that this person incarnated. And I said, and she goes, so I don't understand when you said 100, because this person just flew right back in. And I said, wow. I said, you are preaching to the choir, my love, because I agree. I will never say that there's one size fits all. We have beautiful free will from our Creator, from our source, from who I call God, and we can choose to come in any time we want. We could wait a day, 100 years, or 1,000 years, or never come back. It's always our beautiful choice. So I preface that with, there's no cookie-cutter answer, but typically it's 100 years, because when we move back home, we take in the things that we did well and the things maybe we need to improve on or want to improve on in another lifetime. And we take time for that counsel, and sometimes we also wait for soul groups to come back in, because we want to reestablish and come back in with them for a soul's reason and purpose. So there is no cookie-cutter answer. It is really just a frame of reference that I was given to say that it's purposeful. It is not quick, but it can be. It can be quick.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that. Yeah, I believe that too, Cheryl, because of some of the things that, you know, we've experienced in this lifetime, where a new baby comes in to the family, the soul group, as you would say, and you just know. You just know that person is the grandfather or the grandmother or someone that has left or transitioned to the other side, and it's quick. And even in my own life, you know how, like, you see as you evolve, you see just little glimpses of past lives, and you, over time, you can decipher which is a past life and which is a vision or whatever it may be. And so it appears to me that you can leave and come back sooner. And as you're saying, there isn't any cookie cutters. We all, you know, from the earth mind, we all want to put something, have it all detailed. Wrapped up in a bow.
Put it in a big concrete, you know, manual. But that is not how spirit works. But I will say too, the one piece that I do have in my that I have seen in my readings is if a child does not come into the world in birth, if there's a miscarriage or there's a termination of pregnancy, that spirit sometimes will come back and be born into that same womb. That is one aspect of my mediumship that I do see. But see, there is nothing to reestablish at that point because you haven't lived a lifetime. So in that spiritual standpoint, you know, I think we could theorize or understand that there's nothing to perfect because we didn't come to this earth for very long. So that is the one aspect that I do see in my mediumship from time to time.
I love the way that you explain things, and it makes sense. Another thing that with reading your wonderful book, and let's just say what it is, a spirit's journey, discover your soul's purpose and the light that guides you on your path. I want everyone to know the name so that they can get a copy. One of the things that I thought was neat is we get down to the geography when we're planning. So we're planning with who? Why don't you tell the listeners who we're planning our future incarnation with? And it gets to the details of geography. So the first thing I'm thinking of, why would anyone want to be born in a war-torn area?
Those are some great questions. And those are the questions that are very perplexing for the human mind to settle with, right? I'm going to come back to geography, but let me give you another example. We do choose our moms and dads, our biological moms and dads. So why would I choose a mother that is in the throes of addiction? Why would I want to come into a mother at that? Right? So I say that to preface it when you talk about the ideology and the horrificness of coming into a war-torn area. We do come in for our challenges. We do come in for experience. We do come in to make others better. We come into so many different purposeful reasons. But I will say, Deborah, that, and I say this often in my speeches and my presentation, where we were born and our biological moms and dads, they're almost a given, because that is our first step into this biological world, into this three-dimensional world. So there are no mistakes there. There's no mistakes, and there's no mistakes in the spiritual journey anyway. But I know that the human brain kind of wants to say, but that was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. That is where the perplexity of the human journey gets confused with the spiritual journey. And I always say, take your glasses and take them off the spiritual journey, the human journey, and put them on the spiritual journey, because we are half spiritual beings where there's no emotions, there's no sadness, and there's no grief, and there's no hostility, and there's none of that. We come in on our lighted side with, I always say, A to B. No hurdles, no challenges, just what we wanted to experience and work on our karmic pieces and ascend our souls higher to our divine, our God. And so when you say geography, why would I be born into that kind of hostility and that animal place? Let me give you a few examples. Maybe that was a place that you were born into before. And now you come in with experience and knowing how that works. Maybe you're coming in to help change or be an agent of change in that space, or give comfort to a mother and father that lost a child. There are so many spiritual reasons why we make those choices, but where we're born and who we're born to is the first giant step. And truly, I know I've used never or always because they're definitive, but it is almost never a mistake. It is our choice to go into that space for reasons of purpose. Maybe in another lifetime, we were that alternate, I don't do political pieces, so like the alternate, like the people that we're at war against, maybe you were that other side. So you're coming in to experience what that is like, because maybe you needed to learn that. And again, I'm just giving a few examples of why you would choose that scenario that you gave me as an example to kind of open to.
Right, and that's all good, and I'm right with you with thinking that we're choosing the parents, we're choosing the lessons from a broader scope per se. Do you think that or do you know that we get into more of a detail of what we're learning instead of the vast, say, love? We're going to learn about love. We're going to learn self-love. Does it get into more details with certain choices that we make prior to coming on Earth?
That's some great questions, and boy, that's a loaded question. I'll give you what's kind of being sent to me and I always try to move to do the most basic of foundations, and then I would say build from that in your own heart, because your heart has all your answers. When we choose to build our blueprint, or our when we're on the other side, and I know that's the series that we're working on right now, so we haven't really entered the human experience. That'll be Saturday. That'll be Thursday, I believe, right, Deborah? When we enter into the world. So we're still on the other side, and we are working to say, okay, how can I build? I know the karma I'm going to have to put back on, because how I leave a lifetime is how I will come back in. Sometimes we set up parallel past lifetimes. Okay, I'll use that as an example. Maybe I was a warrior and I was not. I was against the people that I'm now going to be born into. So boy, that's a parallel lifetime to kind of set myself up with. Maybe I want lots of brothers and sisters because I won't have that many. Maybe they will be lost. There's so many reasons that we choose and purposely choose. And we do choose them on our own. And we build alliances, again, in that space in part 2 on my spirit's journey, where we decide to join alliances and bring in maybe a brother. But now this brother is going to be a father. Or maybe that brother in a lifetime is going to be a brother again. And when we're setting that up on the other side, I always say we have spiritual grandeur almost, because we're not human. We're not flesh and blood. So we say, okay, I can handle this. I'm ready for this aspect. I want to move into that. And I use the term, and it's a complete human term, but it's one that I feel is ideology. It's something that can support your thinking. Hard and soft lines. So hard lines mean I am going to meet this challenge. There's no way the universe can skirt me around that. And then there's called the soft lines. Those are the ones that I manifest as I'm kind of going along. So based on that geography piece, we'll stay with that. My hard line is I am going to be born right in the middle of that area. And I know it will increase. I will be born to a father that's very strict and strong, but a mother that's very loved. And my soft line would be, am I going to move out of that geography? Does my path move me out of that geography? And that's when I will get into this journey on Thursday, and I will kind of walk that. Do I want to stay and do I have good to do here? Do I have work to do here? Does this help my karmic piece? Or is it time for me to leave that geography and move to another country, another state, another street? That is what I call the soft lines, and that unfolds as it does, but it's all spiritual. And I want to say too, that's not with our human minds, although hopefully we will get nudges and break through to our spirit, to our human selves. But our spirit makes all those decisions in light and love, but they don't always look beautiful to the human eyes. But they are what we came to learn and to experience. And challenges are those pieces. But our human brains, and I am as human as everybody else, has difficulty with that. Why would I ever ... Why I don't understand why this can happen ... And that's where the spiritual side has those answers, but sometimes it's hard to tap into that.
Right. We have a caller, actually, someone from LA. Are you there? Welcome, caller. Hello? You can talk.
I had to unmute myself. I think you're talking about me. My name is Bonnie Anderson, and I am in Los Angeles.
Yes, Bonnie, I was. Hello, Miss Bonnie.
How are you?
I'm well, sweetheart. Bonnie was actually, I didn't use her name, but I'm so thankful you came. Bonnie was actually one of the people that was in my audience about the 100 years that we started the show with.
Oh.
And how the 100 years is, it's not a have to. It's not a hard line. It is just a guideline. So Bonnie, what did you want to add to that? I loved your conversation that you had.
Now what were you guys talking about?
Anything you want.
Well, I just went down. I was so engaged in what you were talking about, and now I can't remember.
We were talking about geography and decisions that we make.
Oh yeah. I've been really researching this, and wondering why do I keep having the same issues over and over and over again. I always, I go to therapy, I go to church, I do spiritual work, I meditate and all that, and I fall back into, some of the same things. And then I had a past life regression session once, and they said, depression and, that can go from life to life.
True.
Which I never would have considered that. And then, of course, as you say, Cheryl, and so many people say, is that we have to keep coming back until we get it right. Mm-hmm. So I
want to give you a little bit of grace, Bonnie. And okay. I will say you don't have to come back, but you do choose to come back. And I use that for light, love, and comfort in your journey. We do choose for reasons of purpose. And I'm just going to double back to that word depression that you use, and I'm going to use that word, and I honor that word. Sometimes in past lifetimes it doesn't present itself exactly like that. It is a karmic coat, and I do feel, Bonnie, in your case, and we've had some time together too, that is a karmic aspect of you that, and I always say what we need work and the universe keeps giving us. But sometimes it morphs into different places. Let me give you a complete exact, another example that doesn't piece that. I had a client that had didn't do well with her body. She for whatever reasons, in a past lifetime, she didn't do well with her body. She was not good to her body. So in this life, when she came in, she was unable to have children. And that was a residue of that past lifetime. She did go through fertility, and she did have beautiful children through that method, but it was a journey. And she was very upset and very couldn't put her hands around, why? Why me? Why does it come this? Why is my body failing me? That was her thought. And because that karmic piece came through, but it came through and it was ever so different, right? It wasn't exactly the same. So when I say that, Bonnie, too, is open up to yourself, to what speaks to you, and give yourself grace and love. Because you are a beautiful soul, inside and out. And we're all working on a journey. We're all carrying our karmic load in our coats. And no one skirts that. No one skirts that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I do forget that. I need reminding, because otherwise I'm beating myself up all the time. And
right.
We know that.
And what does that? How does that help your journey too? And I say, release the judgment of self when you can. It is something we all fight with. But when you're conscious of it, speak self-love to yourself. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than okay maybe today, or maybe I'm doing a little less than today, but I'll get back to it tomorrow. So keep giving yourself that self-love. That is where you are going to smooth over that karmic coat. And you're right. It might take many lifetimes. We are all working on many lifetimes. But you did choose to come, Bonnie, and when you open your heart, and you know me, Bonnie, what I say doesn't say just take what Cheryl says. No, please don't ever do that. Open your heart to your truths. Open your heart, because when you open your heart, you might get another layer that speaks to you even deeper. Because your heart has all your answers, and it all is love for you in this journey. No judgment. No judgment.
That is so
Kick
true.
that to the curb.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I love you, Miss Bonnie.
Because I've been going through stuff ever since my husband died. It's just been downhill in every area of my life, and I know that I caused most of it, except for my body. Well, some of that is my fault too, but I have so many musculoskeletal issues.
But you know what, too, Bonnie, too? I heard you say, but I caused most of it. I want you to give yourself some grace.
Here I go again. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, give yourself some grace. Maybe the things that you say, I did it myself, but you're using the human. Maybe that was part of the path that you intended to do. And not that it's happy, but remember, our human eyes don't see happy things when we don't feel happy, right? And certainly losing your husband, and our beloved Deborah that we're speaking to, she's lost her husband, and today is his birthday, Bonnie. So there's a connection that you made by calling in, that you and Deborah made for the love that you both had for your husbands.
Yeah.
Honor that.
Yeah. It was his anniversary of his death a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is always a big one.
So it's the June. It's the June because my late husband, it was the 9th, which was last Tuesday. And those things stay with you. But Bonnie, it will, you will feel fuller as you go along, because of the gratitude that you'll have for having him as long as you did. So you'll come to peace with it. But it is a journey, and everyone is different in the journey, and every situation is unique.
And Bonnie, I want to just add this to you too, because I know that you're spiritual. I want you to open your heart, right? You know how I work, right? I open my channels, and for me to have mentioned your story, for you to be listening and calling in, is not by chance. Know that your husband is right with you right now.
Yes, I believe that. I think he's always with me. And when I call him, he's there, as well as my mother. And I think they are really trying to help me, feel better, and giving me lots of love and support.
And isn't that, like Deborah says, the greatest gratitude is the most important ingredient to finding peace. And peace truly is what our journey is about. It's not about happiness. I hope that everyone does get happy, but it really is about feeling peaceful. That is a quintessential efficiency in our lifetime. That's when we know we're on that track.
And actually, that was my personal goal for this lifetime, is I want to die feeling some peace and to be really comfortable in my skin. And I hope that I master that before I move on to the other side.
And you will, right? Because what you tell your spirit to do in light and love, it always does. Don't woulda, coulda, shoulda it out, right? It just embrace that. I am going to. And I don't have to express that to anyone, nor prove that to anyone, or get to a level for anyone.
Right.
It is for me and me only.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you again, Bonnie.
Thank you. It's always good to hear you and talk to you.
You have a beautiful day, sunshine.
Yes, you take good care. And we'll wrap love all around you, Bonnie.
Oh, thank you so much. And love all around you, too.
Thank you.
Really, I hope you have some peace today and some gratitude for all the good times you had with your husband.
Thank you. I am, and I'm relishing in that on days like this, So you too, take good care.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bonnie. Bye, Sunshine.
So at this time we would take a quick break, but I'd like to skip the break altogether, but we'll do the second break. And I wanted to just mention before we get into things again, Cheryl, is for everyone to know that you can get in touch with Cheryl by going on her site. It's Cheryl with a C. And Bradley is Bradley, CherylBradley.com. She's on all the social media. You can buy the book wherever you choose to buy books. And you have a special offer, right, Cheryl?
Yes,
would you like
I
to
do.
Talk about that?
I would. As I think you probably can tell, I love talking about spirit. And I love spreading the word of spirit, and it is a reason why I was told to write the book, and it's my heart's message. So I am because I want to be part of discussions and conversations and all that spiritual love. Is I'm offering a 30-minute free book club meet and greet. So I will come to your group virtually, and we can just do exactly what we're doing here, Deborah. Just kind of converse. And open up our hearts and find our answers together. Because I always say this is not my story. This is our story. And our stories are all so beautifully unique. So I learn as you learn, and we all learn together. So I'm very excited about that offer. It's a summer offer. I'm offering it on Tuesday nights. So get on my website and get yourself a date. And I will see you virtually. I'll take care of the rest.
There you go. Very good. Very good. One of the things that brings comfort in your book is when you, in this particular chapter that we're talking about, is that you never enter a lifetime alone. Can you share more about that?
Yes. We'll get a lot more into it in the Thursday. But what we do is when we talked about soul groups, we talked about alliances. We also select a spirit guide when we're on the other side planning on coming in. And people go, oh, I know, my spirit guide is my dad. My dad's up on the other side in heaven. And I say, yes, he is. He is a beautiful spirit as a guide, but he's not that spirit guide. And I say it's a proper noun, a particular one. And so a spirit guide is either selected for you or you select. And it is a guide that will stay with you from the time that you enter womb through your entire life cycle and as you return back home. I call them like your best friends of best friends. And they are your number one guide, because not only are they with you like a second skin, but they are also well aware of your path, of the things that you wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. And when you get those deep nudges in your human journey, very often that was your spirit guide giving you a little nudge, a little ringing in the ear or a touching of the toe, or just something significant that changed the trajectory of your life. That is your spirit guide in play. So we have our spirit guides. We have kindred souls, and I call those, they're not, the difference between a soul group and a kindred soul, and really it's the only difference, is the soul groups are biological when you're on Earth's play. And when I say that is, we met them in Earth on some way, and we formed that relationship in flesh and blood, in three-dimensional. And so when we beautifully go to the other side, all that falls beautifully to the Earth's surface, and I'm being theoretical. And so when I choose to come back in with that person, a soul group, and that's a biological, that relationship comes back. And because we choose our mothers and our fathers, it creates that biological chain. So your granddaughter or your grandson will be in your focus, in your soul, in your family path, because they are going to choose the mother that chose you. It's almost like a slinky effect. And so you know who your family will be, and as we know, family is one that has to be dealt with generally for a lifetime, one reason or another. And so kindred souls are just, they come into our lives, and sometimes they just kind of float in and float out, or they're meant to. Very often in readings, I see people say, I don't know what it is, Cheryl, I can't get this person out of my head. And very often it comes that they're kindred souls. And they were meant to meet up for sharing of paths or experiences. Maybe it was someone that they had a past relationship in a prior life, so they knew that they'd magnet again, and that they were going to help each other to grow and learn. And that isn't always a positive earth experience. But when you have those undeniable, and sometimes I'm in a store and I just lock eyes with someone and I say, I just get this vibration in my body and I go, I know the spirit. There's something about the spirit, but it just passes, because our spirits we identify them. Even when we're in our human vehicle, our spirits still know our frequencies. So that's just a little piece of what we come in, how we never are alone in this journey. Just a tidbit.
Then on another end of the spectrum, you might be planning to come in, and a sister will come in, and then last minute, the sister may not be born. Mm-hmm. And then, but that doesn't mean that she cannot be born later on in a short period of time, right?
Absolutely. I call them contingencies. For instance, if you were following your mother into this lifetime for reasons of purpose, you were going to be born to your mother, but your father was inconsequential or indifferent, and so she was not to marry him. She was to marry someone else, and then those siblings would be different. But we, on the other side, also, as you say that, I'm just going to put a word to it, have contingencies. We can say, okay, I can move with that. My plan might change a little bit, or it might just fit in beautifully. But I want you also to and all your listeners to just realize too, is we can plan everything we want on the other side, and believe me, we are very purposeful. But once we hit to this flesh and blood earth plane, game on. There is because we have our free will, but so does everybody else. And we are constantly in the ripple of everyone else's free will. So when we decide to come into this journey, we don't come in and say, okay, oh, nope, that's not what I asked for. Nope, that's not going to happen. We are constantly weaving on this very uneven and winding path. And learning how to find the gratitude amidst the choices, amidst the pieces. And so that's a very short answer for a huge conversation we could have, Deborah. We plan as best we can, but as soon as we become flesh and blood, and that is as soon as we enter the womb, I say it's game on. And life can change, right, even from the beginning. But we come knowing that we have to adapt, but we have all that light to help us. And that really is the reason I wrote this book, is to let you know that you're not alone. You are so far from that. Lean in and open your heart and open to the light. And they will an extended hand before you can finish that thought.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to take one quick break, and everyone, you can still call in with questions if you so desire. The number is 833-220-1200. Bob is in the house, so he will put you right through, and when you hear me say, hello, caller, you can just start talking. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be love. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
The light Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids Children's Book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times best-selling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
It's a child's job to play, to learn, and to have fun. It's an adult's job to keep them safe. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18? Every day, families enter the Children's Advocacy Center because a child's courage to tell someone what happened to them. Keeping our children safe starts with a conversation. This is Michelle Aranger, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center. Learn more on how to keep your child safe. Visit cacofbc.org. This message made possible by the Fall River Rotary Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we are back. You're listening to the Love by Intuition show, and my guest, my very special guest, is Cheryl Bradley. She is a spirit medium and teacher, and we are doing a series, a five-part series. We're on number 2, and I just want to do a reminder that this Thursday, which is actually June 18th, we will be doing number 3 at 1 o'clock instead of 6. It's 1 o'clock Eastern time. So I don't want anyone to miss it. Even, it's so much when you're hearing this live, and then you can always listen again and again afterwards. So keep that in mind. The next one is this Thursday, June 18th, at 1 p.m. And you can go back to April 28th, which was actually the first one. And then before you know it, you'll have all 5. And that would be neat. So, Cheryl, what would you like to talk about?
You know what? I can just talk about everything. I really want to emphasize people. It's hard to conceptualize when we're in our human journey that we did so much before we came here, and I really want to stand on that spiritual kind of soapbox and just say, you chose to come and you put your armor on to come, and so give yourself that self-love that you chose your themes, you chose your karmic aspects that you knew that you would encounter, and we talked about a few today. And you choose everything. So when you're wondering why I'm here and why did I do this, sometimes we also choose health pieces. That's part of a theme sometimes. I have a client that has had a whole lifetime of very different in extraordinarily difficult physical ailments. I mean, from cancer, from arthritis, from knee surgery, and this person is not old. A hysterectomy in their early 20s. I mean, just the whole lifetime, the gambit. But that was what she chose in this lifetime. And spiritually, she understands that. Certainly not every day she's excited about it, and that's not what the journey is about. It's not about saying, oh, that's really great. I'm glad I chose this. That's I know I'm a little tongue-in-cheek in that, but when you can say to your higher self and to your love and to your spiritual side, okay, maybe I don't understand all the reasons why I chose it, but I chose it for a reason, and I'm going to just sit with that. And I say, you don't ever have to go to the finish line with anything. Just open your heart. I had my husband say, I'm going to bring my husband. My husband's going, you going to talk about me again? He said something that was so profound for me the other day. So I'm going to share this with your listeners. And he doesn't give himself this intuitive pat on the back as he should, because he is very intuitive, but he doesn't believe he is and doesn't understand that. And so he explained something, we were talking about something that was very deep in our lives, and he goes, I don't know how to explain it fully, but it's just how I feel. And when he said that, it was spiritual. It was deep in his soul, what he was talking about. He couldn't define it. He couldn't understand it. He had no words for it. He just used the word feel. I just feel it. And I said, if you feel it, it's real. Mm-hmm. And I really mean that. You don't always have to go to the finish line with everything that you feel or you think. Just sit with it. And when you're ready, if you're ready, open to more if you choose to. Not with any judgment, not with any rules. Spirituality doesn't have those aspects. That's what's so beautiful in this realm. But just open to that, or just give yourself that understanding that it is real. I don't just feel it. It is real. And certainly my mantra is, if it's light, it's right. It can be carried anywhere in your life, because that is just your path. If it feels light, it is right. And again, my husband did a little side skirt on it, but I said, that's profound. If you feel, it's real, because you know what that is. And so give yourself that honor. And know that you didn't just come and get plopped down here, that you really did make these choices. And if you don't like where you are, that certainly doesn't mean that you made a bad choice. And I will always say that too. I haven't found one person that has fallen off their path. People come to me all the time and they say, I'm off my path, Cheryl. I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What am I supposed to be doing? And I said, you're kind. That's all the universe wants. You can't be kind 100% of the time, but you're kind and you're giving. That is the pocket of love that this earth needs. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. It's all learning experiences.
Right. So now the woman that has her health issues, and that's the path that she chose before she got here, but with free will, isn't she able to heal that and move forward in an awakening type of way? Possibly, right? And that goes back to the hard lines and the soft lines. I do have more depth to her understanding, so I can tell you her path. It doesn't mean it's every path, right? There's no cookie cutters. In her path, she did recover from many of those pieces, but as soon as she recovers, another piece shows up. And they're unrelated as well. But this person is very deep in love with light, and she's like, I'm going to find peace with this. I'm going to not let it bring me down to a deep level. It's karmic for her. Another lifetime that must have been a piece that she needed work on. So she brought these pieces in, and some of those I call them soft lines. We kind of manifest as we move forward. Those are not all hard lines. I do feel the cancer was a hard line, that she was to get, her cancer was breast cancer. She's in remission, full remission, but that was a significant piece. That was a hard line. But the rest of those aspects, she manifested and moved through that. And again, the human view would say, but why would she ever give herself this, and this? That doesn't make sense, Cheryl. And I will always say, I get that. And you can just toss what I say in the garbage. Because I understand sometimes it's just too hard to understand, or you make your journey, you look at your journey in parallel to that, and you're saying, no way, I'm not. And I say, that's fine, right? Spiritual has no judgment, has full tolerance. So take what you need and always leave the rest. But she understands.
She is understanding. She can put those spiritual lenses on a little bit more. Is she in pain? Yes. Is she unhappy sometimes? Yes. Is she sometimes going, I'm tired of this? Yes. But when she can pick herself back up, she's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can keep living. I can find happiness in my grandchildren. I can find happiness with the marriage I have. So you make your view and gratitude in a different place. Because I always say, have your pity party. You're entitled to it. Have your pity party, but you cannot stay there. It is not self-serving.
Right, you cannot. And you can lift yourself up just by being in, calling upon your higher self and being in that space, your spirit space versus your earth person. Were you thinking to reply to what I was saying?
Could you repeat it? I'm not sure I heard.
Oh, I was just going on about how how you can call upon your higher self.
Oh, I did hear that. And I was like, I was saying, amen, sister.
Yes.
100%. And it's not one way, right? It's what feels light and right for you. Some would say, I don't even know what a higher self is. I want to talk to my mom on the other side. Beautiful. Do that. Or I don't know. I'm going to talk to my archangel. Beautiful. Do there. Go there. Right? There's not a one size fits all. It's whatever feels light and right for you. But just find that light and just hug it and grasp it, because it is always there. Anytime that you are open, it is always there.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's always there waiting for us. It
truly is. And just open your heart and feel that. And also too is some people say, well, I grateful. What is that? And I say it can be anything. It could be smelling a flower and loving that smell. Really soak into that and say, oh, that feels so good to smell that. It doesn't have to be monumentous. It doesn't have to be. Some people have a lot of devastation in their life, so they can't look at grandchildren or they can't look at a pretty picture or whatever. Find whatever speaks to you. Whatever speaks to you, that you can stand up. Maybe that's gratitude for you. Find what speaks in your heart, and I can tell you that when you open and really sink in and smell and drink that gratitude, that you will feel something. And even if it's just for a second, you got there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's something else. Now, I want to ask you, how has your life changed since you've written this book?
I feel so fortunate and humbled to get that book out. But I feel like I'm just in the starting gates. I'm like, okay, now what is? Because people say, Cheryl, this is so amazing. I'm going, thank you. All right, what's next? All right, what's next? What's next? Patience is not my virtue and not one that I have put a check mark to in this lifetime. I'm very patient with some things, but not with myself. And so I feel like I just want to express and just bring that out to every person that embraces it. And again, for you to accept it in your heart, just the way it speaks to you. And just to really teach that. I feel like that has been my calling. And that's really what gives me the most peace, is when I'm talking and I'm sharing in this type of format. And that just sinks to my heart, that it reaches people the way the book was intended to. And not with any judgment and no have-tos, just at your own pace. And it is a book. I've heard from so many people that I read it, Cheryl, and I go back and read it, and it talks to me differently. And I say, that's how it's supposed to, because your curiosity is insatiable when you start opening to spirit. One question leads to 10 leads to 100. And your truths are all in your heart, but you have to move into that space of open and trusting. And once you are open and trusting or are allowing that, so much comes in. So much is offered to you. And never in deceit, never in dupeness. It's always in light. And again, that light is always the right path. Not always happy. Sometimes it brings us to the challenges that we chose, but it's always right. And if you open your heart to that, it really can move you to places of peace, even if it's just for a moment.
Right. And it's so important to find that peace within, because if we're resonating in peace within, then we are going to have peace worldwide. But it all starts with each one of us about what's going on inside of us.
Right.
I mean, I get excited with the thought of we each can play a part in bringing peace to the world, not just for a day or a thought, but forever, to bring peace, and we're a part of it. Each one of us is so valuable.
So valuable. And one final piece I want to just chat with, if I have a second. Do I have a second, Deborah?
Yes, we do.
Okay. When we're on the other side, because I hear from so many people. I was talking to a person yesterday. She goes, I read your book, Cheryl. It made a lot of sense, but I'm stuck on this piece. Why would I leave heaven? Why would I leave the other side and come here? I don't understand that. I really can't wrap my head around that. And that is a question I hear over and over and over again. And I say the simple answer is we want to perfect for God. We want to perfect our souls. But that is really hard for the human brain to wrap around. Like, what? What is all that? And I understand that. But I also say to her as well, we do come for those pieces, but open to this. On the other side, there's no touch. There's no love. There's no feeling of breeze. We come with that beautiful caveat that we will experience that we will eat a lobster roll and taste the butter and hug and embrace and touch and to feel the earth, because the energy on the other side that doesn't exist in the same form that this three-dimensional world comes in. So that is a beautiful experience that we come in that is in no other dimension. And so I leave you with that too, and the kinder and what we're doing to this earth in terms of litter and that those pieces. That holds very strong to my heart, is keeping the earth beautiful and clean as much as we can. And as you say, and we can, and kinder, and it just takes thought. You don't even have to do physical movement for kindness. You just have to send that love and kindness out, and it finds its way.
Beautifully said. I'm sorry we have to fly. Everyone, feel what you think of it as an opportunity that you're on the earth to feel and experience all these things, whether heavy or light. It is an opportunity. We have to fly. Everyone feel the love. Let's come together in unity consciousness until we come together again Thursday, June 18th at 1 p.m. Au revoir.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week, all designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Beauvais, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.